Well, hello and welcome to the Cluebird. I'm your host, R. Wayne Browne. When I was a kid, I wanted to become a rodeo star. I had a big hat, some rope, and I thought I was ready for the challenge. After riding the grocery store version, I finally got to ride a real horse, and that was it for me. Scary. That was the end of my dream. Later on, as a single dad, I noticed the same thing with kids in general. And I wondered, why do kids lose interest in something so quickly? My next door neighbor's boy, nice kid, wanted to play Little League. They bought all the equipment and never missed a practice or a game. I often worried they wanted him to be in Little League more than he did. Well, I finally went to one of his games and watched a ball roll between his legs while he was gazing at an airplane flying overhead, daydreaming. Well, after striking out every time, showing minimal effort, I realized his Little League future was probably not going to happen. My son wanted to become a golfer. I bought clubs, we went to the driving range, and he quickly realized playing golf on a real course was really difficult, to say the least. Without the desire or motivation to practice, his golf bag predictably started collecting dust in the corner of our garage. I often wonder why kids have a sudden motivation to be or become something and it just doesn't last. You've probably experienced the same thing with your kids. It's frustrating because they initially show an interest in something, hey, give it a try, and then the dream just fades away. Why? Thinking of me as a rodeo star and observing my kids, I realized that if their success in doing something relied on motivation alone, it probably wouldn't last. Watching my neighbor's son play Little League, his motivation to become a baseball player was the only force driving him. When it got hard, when it got frustrating, his motivation quickly diminished, and with nothing else to support him staying in the game, it was quickly dream over, like with so many kids. I found having the required discipline for success is easier when structure supports it. What I mean is, I realized when my kids showed an interest in something, okay, they were just motivated to pursuing that dream. However, pursuing that dream quickly became the struggle we all knew was coming. And if they had no support or structure to prop them up, the ensuing struggle often and quickly overwhelmed their initial motivation, ending their dream. With just their motivation pursuing something, the required discipline to achieve it is lacking. Can you imagine a typical Little League kid wanting additional practices, including countless base running wind sprints, and maybe wearing out the batting machines? No, never. They think normal practice is plenty, lacking the discipline and drive to do what it takes to excel. Without the discipline to persevere and push through the inevitable struggles of learning something, the candle often blows out. So I ultimately taught my kids to build a system, not willpower. I used to ask them, how does your willpower stand up to the smell of pizza when you just left the diet center? How does your willpower stand up to running, let's say, an extra 2,000-yard sprints after a tough practice in the rain? Willpower is fickle and it's unreliable. I taught them they must build a system to succeed. Their system would create the structure they will need to overcome the struggles they most definitely will endure in their march to extraordinary. Willpower be damned. The three corners of the system were goal setting, effort, and practice. First, goal setting. It was a must-do first step I preached. With my son, setting a goal of becoming a college football player was one of many, and we did it at our dining room table. I said that setting a goal is the first step. Predict what you want to be or become, and languish in that idea for a moment every day, seeing yourself in your imagination, in color, being that person. It's imagining something in advance of becoming it. It firmly sets dreams and gets kids working towards something, not just whimsically at something. Starting with being that college football player, together we worked backwards, breaking down each year to the present, setting academic height, weight, strength, and agility goals for him. For each year, we identified and enrolled him in several summer football camps at local colleges and signed him up with local strength conditioning and football coaching talent in addition to his regular schoolwork and practice. Goal setting was the beginning of the plan, establishing the structure with the first leg of the system. Next, we established effort goals as the next leg of the system. He was to be a first-in-line type of player, develop leadership, and exceed every predetermined goal from strength to speed and agility. He was to be a hair-on-fire possessed human being as to effort. No one would out-effort him. No one. And third, the third and last leg of the system was practice. Going in, he acknowledged and agreed that pursuing his dream would require seemingly endless amounts of practice and become a labor of love. He acknowledged learning football would be a very difficult undertaking. It would be years of intense struggle requiring intense effort. He'd embrace the struggle. He'd rejoice in the struggle and view the struggle as his best friend, highlighting the areas for him to focus on to improve. Now he had a system, a three-pronged structure that advanced goal setting, effort, and practice into his life. Willpower was no longer needed because now he had a structure supporting him during his epic challenge. A struggle he had full knowledge of and he chose to do. He embraced his struggle, rejoicing in each new goal attainment along the way. First, he had a dream and set a goal. Next, he exerted nonstop maximum effort goals. Also, he welcomed and enjoyed the year-round practice goals needed to attain and exceed his desired performance levels. So how did he do, you might ask? Well, he lived his dream of playing college football. He became what he only once dreamed about. He became his dream, and so can your kids. I hope you enjoyed our discussion today. As always, I hope you got something useful out of it, and if you did, be sure to subscribe. Oh, hot tip. Until our next visit, I would like for you to think about keep your word and what that might mean to you. Oh, and hey, make sure your clue bird is eating a healthy diet.